Hi, my name's Jon Slade from Elastic Artists. We're a London-based music booking agency. We've been going since May 2004. I started my career as an agent in the year 2000, and during that time I've worked for various other agencies in London, including Coda and Profile Agency. Elastic started in 2004 out of a desire to better represent underground electronic music artists that weren't at that time being well represented by the traditional mainstream rock and pop booking agencies in London. We currently represent about 350 artists from a wide range of genres, including dubstep, house, techno, jazz, soul, R&B, folk, world music and Latin. We currently have 8 agents, mostly working out of our offices in London, but also working from Liverpool in the UK and also working from Paris in France. The company has nearly 20 employees, and my job as the managing director is to look after the company as a whole, to focus on business development, to try to recruit new bands and new agents to work for our company, and also to travel to events such as Music Connects in Mumbai to represent the company and to represent the music industry in the UK more generally. So our company has a reputation internationally for breaking new artists and especially from emerging genres of music. We were one of the first companies to represent artists from the grime scene, people like Wiley and Boy Better Know and Tinchy Strider, and more recently we've pioneered the dubstep sound coming out of the UK, so artists like Digital Mystics and Plastician and Joker, and more recently again from UK funky and bass music, people like Jack Master and Bok Bok and the Night Slugs guys, Elvis 1990. I'm particularly excited about this trip to India because we're starting to book some tours for some of our artists in India. I think we've recently worked with a guy called Vijay Singh, who was involved in the British Council's International Young Music Entrepreneur of the Year competition, and I think already we've done a couple of tours with our artists in India, including the Black Lips. I've worked on a tour for Ross Allen several years ago, who played in various cities around India. So for me, this is my first trip to India, so I'm very excited about the opportunity to come out and meet people from the Indian music industry and also hopefully people from throughout the Asian subcontinent. I'm also looking forward to speaking on the panel. My good friend Ruth from Unconvention invited us to appear on a panel at the conference and talk about the UK music industry and to give some advice to Indian artists about how to potentially gain a fan base in Europe. I've done some work for the British Council over the years in countries outside of the mainstream. So we went on a fact-finding trip to Poland several years ago, and I've done quite a lot of work advising Polish clients about how to better penetrate the British and European live music scenes. I'm interested to find out how the music scene is in India, what challenges face Indian artists in reaching new audiences both in their own country and to wider audiences around the world. I'm on fairly friendly terms with Bobby Friction and Nihao, whom some of you might know, who are Asian DJs working on the BBC Radio 1 and also on the Asian Music Network. And I've had some dealings with other Indian artists such as Talvin Singh and Raghu Digit and others. So I hope to learn a little bit more about the record company scene, how it is touring around India, which cities you can play in, how artists can differentiate themselves from what a lot of people consider to be the traditional Indian music scene, which is predominantly focused around the Bollywood scene, and also to make contact with some new and emerging bands from India, potentially to invite them over to the UK to work with us and potentially to do some shows in the UK. Culturally, I'm very interested in India. I'm a big fan of Indian cuisine. and obviously I'm very interested in Test cricket. So for me, there are lots of interesting angles to this trip, and I very much look forward to meeting both music industry professionals and some artists during this trip. So I hope to see you there, and thanks for listening.